Peace, love, and light to everyone out there. Hey, this is your host again, as usual, Limitless. And of course, this is that show, Limitless Talks, where we talk about everything from politics, economics, to propaganda. And as usual, guys, I'm just here to bring the notable news to you guys. And whatever you guys do with it, that is perfectly up to you. But you know what it is? It's a commentary based on whatever information is coming out of mainstream media, because we know everything they say doesn't mean what they're saying, and everything they do doesn't match what they say. You understand what I'm saying? We've been through that several times. But without further ado, guys, let's have a quick look at the market. And as we can see, we're starting to get a bit of relief from the recent uh, correction in the market. And yes, guys, it is a correction. It's nothing more than that. If anyone is interested in knowing when the market is actually tumbling, crashing, just look at the debt market, the Federal Reserve balance sheet, the Bank of England's balance sheet. When that balance sheet starts to reduce, and while at the same time they're increasing rates, guys, you know the market is going down, down. But all of this is just a correction. You know, it's nothing anyone should be, scared of. It's just a correction. And if you look at the 10-year yield on the interest rate, you can see everything is close to neutral. You understand what I'm saying? Very close to neutral. If you look at this, that one dropped in rate, that dropped in rate slightly as well, that dropped slightly as well, that dropped slightly as well, and went up. So guys, right now, the only reason we saw the dollar strong was the sell off in the market, both the stocks and crypto, back into dollars, hence why the dollar went high. It's just that simple. And we can see the dollar's going down again because, hey, the Fed is diluting the dollars out there. That's just all is happening, guys. They are diluting the dollars out there. Every new currency denomination within a denomination that's printed gets its value from the already circulating note out there. You get what I'm saying? The value doesn't come with it, but rather it steals value from what's already out there. And that's what they do. You understand what I'm saying? So if we look at the Federal Reserve balance sheet, as you can see, this balance sheet since last year, December, right, even to this year, February, March, they've been talking about tapering. And if you look at this balance sheet and you just simply look at the trend, it's on the upwards trend. There's nothing. They're not doing anything. They're not tapering. Every now and then you know, they'll reduce it a bit. But on the overall trend, it's a trend up. It's a trend up. You understand what I'm saying? And we'll see what's gonna happen here, right? I guarantee it's gonna be a trend up again. So we don't need to fool and play ourselves. We know what's going on. And if we look at Bitcoin, you know, like I said in the last video, the chances of us going higher is very, very limited, because when you look at this yellow trend line, you can see that, we've been rejected there, and then we came all the way down, bounced, and got rejected again, and then came all the way down. And in the last video, you remember I touched on the fact that there's a potential that, hey, we could see 29,000 range. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're at 29,000. There's a potential this could drop further, but hey, we don't know what they're playing at. We just got to look at the repo market and look at what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? The money printing hasn't stopped. Quantitative easing is still going on. So what we're likely to see on the way down is we're probably likely gonna, you know, test this trend line again and probably get rejected again. So guys, it looks like we're on a trend line down. So let's just keep an eye on that and keep watch of our portfolio and all that jazz there. And remember, please, guys, make sure you're in assets with use case regardless of whether you're making money from it. Everyone should at least have two classes of investment they're in, right? Your serious long-term investment and your short to medium term investment whereby you just want to make buck and that's it. You understand what I'm saying? So that way you can differentiate between that asset that, hey, I don't care what happens to it. You understand? You can watch it go up and down. You don't care because it's your long term bag. And then your short to medium term bag, that one you can play with as you see fit, to make money up and down. Because whether we're in a bull market or a bear market, you can make money. You just have to understand. Like right now, I've already jumped in the market, right? I'm in the market, and what's likely to happen is we're gonna get a huge volume and test the trend line again, right? Test the trend line, and that could potentially go something like this. Test it, get rejected again, and so on. So, hey, that's just my analysis, guys, and of course, it matches with what a lot of people are saying out there. So, moving on to uh, some funny articles. We've got Pfizer revenue explodes as it battles accusation of pandemic profiteering. I don't even think that should be an accusation. That's just a fact. We all know that. Look at this right here. Look at this. Pfizer's first quarter revenue have exploded in comparison with last year, setting in stone that it has avoided the much feared COVID-19 cliff edge. The natural decline of COVID 19 had spooked investors. Clearly, clearly, the investors got in because they want to profit off of the disease. You understand what I'm saying? So, if they're not profiteering, why are investors spooked when COVID 19 declined? Guys, read their articles and make it make sense. You understand what I'm saying? They recorded a revenue of £20.4 billion in the first few months of the year. Guys, we know what it is. It's all a sham, it's a scam, it's what they do. Next, we've got UK huddling towards recession on double-digit cost of living squeeze, Bank of England warns. Uh, about time they start speaking some truth. It's almost like, they have a designated time when they have to at least speak some truth out there. But we know uh, recession is coming regardless of whether people are ready for it or not. They know it. Now, if you folks out there don't realize that, then you're playing yourself. You're just playing yourself. That's just it. Next, we've got recruiters in overdrive as number of job adverts skyrockets. 1.8 million vacancies now up for grabs. If you know anybody, I know a lot of people looking for a job. You understand what I'm saying? And one thing we need to understand about these companies and recruiters and what have you is they put up false adverts. Again, if you don't know this already, it goes to show that you don't know how the world works. They put up false adverts just to test the waters, to see what the economy is like, to see what, candidates are asking for, what they want. You understand what I'm saying? And there are some ads out there that they're not even looking to employ anyone. They're just out there. There's a lot of ads out there whereby they're not looking to recruit anyone. 90% of jobs are not advertised. The remaining 10% that are advertised, that's what the remaining people are scrapping for. And any serious recruiter, they get a candidate within a week or two. It's just what it is, guys. Any serious organization will find a candidate within a week or two, or maximum 3 weeks, depending on their recruitment process. So 1.8 million vacancies up for grab. Nah, they clearly don't need a candidate. It's just there for show. It's just a poster. You understand what I'm saying? Propaganda at its finest. Bad propaganda at its finest, I should say. Next, inflation could surge beyond our bleakest forecast. Bank of England rate setter warns. Again, we know that already, and we know what's causing inflation. They keep printing all this money, keep buying all these mortgages. You get what I'm saying? All these securitized loans and stuff like that. You know, backed with assets, bond, whatever it might be. They keep buying them. Now, when you buy something that someone already owns, you're diluting the economy. That's what's going on. Because they're the money printer, they do whatever they want. And because they are a private institution, guess what? They never make their books public. The Fed, you see, the fiat currency is for the institutions. It's a private bill of exchange. It's not yours. Each and every single one of us should create our own bill of exchange. The fiat note is just bill of exchange. When you read legislations, when they talk about these things, they will just say bill of exchange. You will not hear them talk about, a specific currency or no or whatever. No, they won't. They're just gonna say bill of exchange, because each and every single one of us should know how to draft one. All right, should know how to draw one. And if you don't know how to draw one, go research that bill of exchange. Next, we've got Boris wants any state support to fight cost of living crisis merely pushes inflation even higher. That's interesting, because they have to print money to support the cost of living. But guess what? They print money to support the several various companies that are contracted back to the government. You see, all these companies, when you trace the contract they have, you see it goes back to another company, and eventually it leads back to the United Kingdom's government. And we know the United Kingdom's government is employed by the crown to provide services for the men and women. So, guys, when they talk about inflation, that shouldn't even bother you. You know, we men and women, we the masses, the people, we shouldn't even care, because it doesn't concern us. It's their problem to deal with. All we care about is we receive the services and goods that we need to survive. It's just that simple, guys. And they know that. They know that. They know you shouldn't be paying for these things, but they still get us to pay for it anyways. Next, we've got BAE brace for demand boost in wake of war in Ukraine. Again, profiteering. It's what they do. The same thing Pfizer did, Moderna, all of them. That's the same thing they're all doing. They're all profiteering from crisis that they've created. It's not rocket science, guys. It's just not. Next, we've got today's interest rate hike may hit mortgage holders hard, warns IFS director ahead of Bank of England announcement. Now, this was on the 5th of May, and we know they did increase interest rate. And of course, anyone just trying to purchase a mortgage, and guys, please research what mortgage is so you understand exactly what you're doing. Okay? Research exactly what you're doing. Basically, a mortgage is you're buying fiat currency from this institution. Remember, the fiat currency is for the institutions, it's not for you. It's for the institutions to use. Now, you're buying fiat currency from the institution, and guess what? You're putting your house down as a collateral. The house is already yours. It's not theirs. okay? And they tell you they've loaned you money. When in fact they haven't actually loaned you anything, because banks are not allowed to own properties. They're not allowed to own land. They are not allowed to own any real estate. However, the loophole they use to own these things is by getting you that own that property to give it to them. Because if you do it by consent, if you say that's what you want to do, then it's allowed. But banks themselves cannot go out and say they want to purchase a land or own this or own that. That's not their job. Their job is just to hold wealth for the men and women. That's it. That's their job. They're just a clearinghouse. A lot of them are holding companies. That's what they're supposed to do. But the economy, the system have been manipulated by very few to take advantage of the many. And until people understand exactly the mechanism of how that work, you know, people will keep going round and round in circles. Next, we've got Russia's economy is back on its feet. That's very quick. That is a short article. I like it. There's a reason for its resilience. Yes, we know why. Because there ain't no issues to start off with. Because if you do think about it, where did all the sanctions, what happened? Surely that should have crippled the economy. But that shows you that it's all fake. It's all just talk. Okay, there's no substance behind it. Next, we've got a wave of layoffs is sweeping the US. Here are firms that have announced cuts so far, from Carvana to Wells Fargo. We've been talking about these guys. In order for them to meet their earning targets, they're going to start laying people off. Okay? They will lay people off. They will jack up the prices. They will do all sorts of manner of crazy things just to meet their earning target. Because you see, these companies, they are investments and they have to bring return. The highest shareholders in these companies, these big companies that you see, Amazon, Microsoft, the big ones that provide goods and services, the biggest shareholders are the public. And do you know what the public is? What the public are? The government, the crown. You understand what I'm saying? The crown gives money to the UK government. The UK government, um, through the Bank of England, they then pump that money out into the economy, into these various businesses via holding companies, the banks. You understand what I'm saying now? Via the banks, via the investment firms like BlackRock, Grayscale, Vanguard, Van X, and all these big fund investment management fund institutions. That's who they work for. They work for the government. They work for the Bank of England, via the government and so on. Like, that's how they funnel the money. You see, the money is already yours. The money that provides the capital for these organizations to operate is already given to them by you, by us men and women. It's public funds that makes them stay afloat. If you go into Microsoft, look up who's the biggest shareholder in Microsoft. You'll see something like BlackRock owning bloody 40%, 50%. Now tell me, which is public fund. Now tell me, if BlackRock pulls out, do you think that company will still be able to function? No, they're going to start running out of skelter to find new investors. So you see, everything's already created for you, regardless of whether you work or not. But it is still us men and women that have to work in these institutions, right, to make these things. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully, you guys understand that. Next, we've got 90,000 jobs at risk. Whitehall bloodbath looms as Boris Johnson orders ministers to sack fifth of all civil servants. Even the UK government is a company. UK PLC, Public Liability Company. That's why they have departments. Just like your standard corporation have a department, the UK corporation also have a department. You have the Department of Social, you know, all of that. You have the Department of Energy, work. You have the Department of Education. Like if you go on the UK Gov website, you'll see it. They have a department and they have executive agencies, which are corporations that are contracted to the UK corporation to provide services. And then those executive agencies, they contract other, companies out there, corporations, to tell them to go do things. And that's how the structure work all the way down until it gets to the men and women. It's still men and women running all this corporation. You understand what I'm saying? It's all for us. Some people like to say, "Oh, so you're saying we don't have to work to live, to get the things we need?" No, you don't. No, you don't. But that doesn't mean you know you gotta be a bum. Trust me, if you work, you will have extra. You will make extra to invest in those things, to do those things. Because for you to invest in a corporation, you need to have the cash. You understand what I'm saying? You need to have the instrument that a corporation can accept, which is that fiat currency. You need to have that. But when it comes to purchasing, buying things from the corporation, you can issue your own bill of exchange. But there are procedures that one have to ensure one carry out in the background before one can issue your bill of exchange. Your bill of exchange have to be registered, right? You have to have a registered bill of exchange reference number. That's why if you look at a check has a bank account and a sort code. You understand what I'm saying? And any other necessary details for you know the processing party to be able to process it. So if you use a bill of exchange that's not properly registered in the economy, that's fraud and you will be arrested. So don't nobody go around and say, "Oh, I've heard from somewhere that you can just issue your own bill." You will get arrested if your bill of exchange is not registered. Hence why you have to find out how to do these things legally and in the right way. You understand? So, yeah, the UK Inc. is also laying off people so they can maximize their profit. It's just that simple. You guys get the gist. It's the same shit. Next, we've got Royal Mail bets big on 500 drones for 50 new aerial postal routes across UK in push to make air deliveries take off. Look at the size of that drone, guys. Look at the size of that drone. Look at that. Look at that, guys. And look at these guys standing next to it as if that, automation equipment there ain't about to make them redundant. Look, guys, they're going to phase these things in, bit by bit stages. Anyone, that works in a big organization or even any organization that deals with projects and stuff like that, things are done in phases. They will phase these things in and, they'll monitor it and make sure it's going good. And eventually, all these men and women will be redundant. But we shouldn't care, anyways. You understand what I'm saying? Because we can get these things technically for free. Men and women have inalienable right to everything. Everything. Because everything we do all comes from the raw material we get out of the ground, which belongs to everybody. So by default, the products and services belongs to all of us. DP very well, guys. Think about it. Next, we've got welcome the era of integrated finance led by banks and fintechs partnership. Just like we've said, guys, the current legacy system, the institutions that control the current legacy system, are also the ones that have been building and investing in the new uh, crypto system, blockchain system, and it's no brainer. They didn't have to. Nobody should only be finding out just from this article. But again, this article is basically telling you live and direct who's sponsoring what. You understand what I'm saying? How it's happening. It's the big banks. It's the big financial institutions that are partnering with these financial technology companies to build the next economy infrastructure, which is blockchain, automation. You understand what I'm saying? The digital era. It is what it is, guys. Next generation AI. Breakthrough for automation as robot chef in Cambridge can taste food at different stages of the chewing process. Bollocks. Bollocks, guys. That is the biggest lie on the planet. Please tell me a robot can taste food. I'll wait. I'll wait for that explanation. But I guarantee you, when they explain to you, it's a gimmick. The robot can't really taste the food, but rather there's a code that allows it to analyze, the substance in what it's, tasting apparently. Anything without life cannot do what, an entity with life can do. We men and women, we have life. We're the greatest technology on the planet. And that's what they're trying to imitate. Or shall I say, that's what we are trying to imitate for ourselves. So we can all just sit back, chill, and sort of have our own servants on top of the servants we already have, which are called the public servants. The Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty, the CEO of the Crown Corporation, Boris Johnson, the CEO of the UK PLC. Guys, understand how these things work. It's all corporate entity, all fiction. The men and women in these positions have no power. The position have the power, not the men and women. Moving on. We've got Saturday sit down. Citybus pays staff in gold to beat inflation. Makes no sense to pay them in pounds. Duh. We've been saying that. And we know we're moving to gold standard. Guys, the news they bring out tells you what they are doing, what they are planning. Now, it is your job to look at the action in which they are taking to bring that about. Because they will tell you what they want to do, but they will go about it in a different way. That's why you can't just listen to what they say. You got to look at what they are doing, how they are doing what they are doing. Okay? And this is very, very interesting. Going back to gold standard, your paycheck, everything will be in gold. Your currency will be backed by gold. The current fiat currency, the Bank of England note, pounds, it's nothing but just a piece of paper or plastic. It has no value. It clearly states on it, I promise to pay the bearer. Meaning you are holding an instrument that they own, and they're basically saying, I promise someday I will pay you something of value for that instrument you're holding. That's basically what they are saying. But it's it's always a cat and mouse chase with them. But anyways, guys, get ready for this one because the gold standard is coming. We're going back to that maritime jurisdiction. Next, we've got Biden cancelled an Alaska oil gas lease sale what's the impact on gas prices? Again, guys, we shouldn't care about the gas prices because we should be able to discharge our debt. Okay, these companies, corporations, government, these noble dukes, duchesses, all of them, they are your servants. They are public servants. But guess what? They've put themselves on a pedestal to make themselves as if they're the masters. No, you men and women are the masters. These men and women in the position they're your servants. That's why they're in the position they're in. They the higher your position, the lower you serve. The higher your position, the lower you serve. Okay? That's why people that want to aspire to be great, to be known, to be up there, the lower you serve. The greater the service you provide to mankind have to be. Okay? So, by him doing this, obviously, they know that it's gonna cause increase in gas price, in oil price, in fuel price. But they're still gonna go ahead and do it anyways because they know men and women don't know the difference between them and a corporation. Only a corporation have to worry about this. Only a corporation that have to run a business, create something, have to worry about this. Men and women ain't got nothing to worry about. Anyways, let's move into some crypto news now. We've got NIM Technologies raises 300 million to advance internet privacy, sending token price up. Guys, the privacy tokens, they're going to be very, very important because as it is in the current legacy system whereby your transaction, everything is tracked, it's the same thing they want to do when it comes to blockchain. The middleman still wants to be the middleman and collect, how can I put it, dividend on your commercial transactions. You understand what I'm saying? Next, we've got SEC doubles down on crypto regulation by expanding UNIT. Guys, we know regulation is coming very, very soon. ISO 20022 is end of this year, towards the last quarter of the year. So, guys, get ready. Look, this thing is just gonna happen like that. Boom, it's gonna happen in a flash, in a heartbeat. So they're getting ready for that. India crypto exchanges mandated to store user info for 5 years. Guys, same as the current legacy system. They want to have a hold on you. They want to know everything you're doing. They want to know who you are. When they say know your customer, it literally means what it means, to know everything about you, even though they don't need to. All right? If you deal with them in the private, you dictate what they hold, what they don't hold, how long they hold it for, and so on and so forth. You give them the terms and conditions, because a fiction cannot have authority over a man or a woman that's a living entity. A fictional entity does not have authority over a man or woman who's a living entity. A man or woman as a living entity, however, does have authority over a fiction. It's just that simple. On demand. You demand, you command them. It's just what it is. Next, we've got California governor issues executive order on crypto as state embraces blockchain technology. Guys, it will be embedded in everything we do. Everything. 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 I don't care what it is. Blockchain, digitization, automation, that's industry 4.0, the fourth industrial revolution. You will never hear them talk about it on the news because, hey, they don't want you to know. But hey, it's happening. They're building. It's happening right in front of all of us. We just have to be cognizant of it. Next, we've got Chainlink set to power Latin American real estate platform. Hey, another crypto that's gonna uh, power a real estate platform within Europe, America is Propi. So, guys, look at the several industries that are out there in the economy and go research what blockchain is going to be used to run that economy. What blockchain is out there that's been developed to run that economy, to digitize that economy, to automate that economy. Because that's essentially what's happening, guys. That's essentially what's happening. You don't want to be in the wrong assets because you will get wrecked. We've seen what happened to Luna recently. All right. Next, blockchain technology to power De Beers diamond production. This is another one. Blockchain technology will power everything. Everything will be tracked via blockchain. So there's not gonna be secret. There's not gonna be lies. You can't cook the books in any way because it will be recorded. All right. Next, we've got Compound Treasury receives B credit rating from S&P Global Rating. Guys, this is another thing. Crypto is gonna be, the new banking. Okay, it's not gonna be different from the current system. It's just that things will just be faster. Okay, the principles of what is gonna be happening is still exactly the same. It's just banking. It's just that it's gonna be on blockchain now. It's gonna be fast. That's the difference. And the current middlemen, the banks, the current financial institutions, the same institutions are taking over the digital economy because they're the ones sponsoring it. They're the one with the money. You understand what I'm saying? As much as we, the men and women, as much as we invest as well, and we call ourselves retail investors, trust me, the amount of money that comes from the public to fund, these developments is huge. Huge. Because the wealth of the land is what builds all these things. You understand what I'm saying? The gold, the diamond, the oil, the copper, the iron, all of those things in the land, the agriculture, that's what sponsors all these things. You see, fiat is just a method of accounting, of counting for things. That's all it is. We're just counting what we've used. Okay, who's holding on to this? Okay, who's got this? Who's got. That's all it is. We're just accounting for things, you know? And second to the last, we've got Warren Buffett backed digital bank Nubank buys Bitcoin, adds trading in app. So, guys, while we're going in this bear market or this correction or whatever you think it is a correction because we're not in a bear market yet. Bear market again is when we start to see the balance sheet reduce. When we start to see money flow out of the debt market, which is the balance sheet and all that. You understand? So right now, it's a bear market. And what can we see? We're seeing the big guys. They're still buying. Guys, just do what they do. Don't listen to what they say. Just do what they do. It's just that simple. Because you will still hear guys like Warren Buffett, they will still come out and talk nonsense about Bitcoin and say, see, I told you it's rubbish. Hopefully it goes down for good this time, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's all mind play. It's a mind game. Nothing but a mind game. All right, guys. And lastly, this is the talk of the town at the moment. Terra's dollar stablecoin UST collapses. Luna, the crypto, falls 97% to under $1 because Luna is tethered to UST, the stablecoin. So when the stablecoin got drained, Luna lost its value. Guys, stablecoins are the foundation. Every single crypto has something backing it, whether that is direct investment into the treasury of that crypto, or the crypto is tethered to another asset. Is just what it is. That's just the basic principle behind it, guys. And when they drained it, this is an example of what's gonna happen to a lot of cryptos. A lot of cryptos are gonna get drained to zero. Okay? And what did the team do after this went down? They increased the supply as well. They increased the supply, which further pushed the price to like 0.0003 cents or something like that. Go look at this, guys. You know, so understand the market you're in, understand how the game is being played, what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? And know that the public, everything happening in the public, is not supposed to affect men and women, because men and women are the ones that all these things are created for in the first place. And it is the men and women, us, that create these things for us. Okay? The money, all of that is just loud noise in your ear to make you think these things are actually the value that they're saying it is in those numbers. No, value is whatever we say value is. If I give you a piece of paper for orange and I say that piece of paper is valuable, and you take it from me and you say, yes, this is valuable, you can negotiate it to someone else. It becomes a negotiable instrument. It has value because you've given a value by giving me orange for it. So automatically that makes that piece of paper valuable. It's just what it is. You see, this is the gimmicks they don't explain to us. But once you start researching and understand these things, life becomes a bit more easier. You understand what I'm saying? That was my little Dougie. Alright. What's up? But anyways, guys, I appreciate you all listening in as usual. And of course, remember, don't let the market spook you. Always have that long-term bag and that short-term bag. And of course, we know what we cannot expect in this economy right now. We know we're going down. It's slowing down. And the reason it's slowing down is because we need to make the transition from the current, fossil fuel burning and all this dirty, stuff that we're using, and move towards clean energy. Hey, it's cleaner than the previous one. That's all they're saying. It's not 100% clean. It's just cleaner than the previous one. So once you understand their language, it's simple what they're talking about. You understand? So, peace, love, and light to every single one of you out there. I'll catch you on another episode. And before I go, please, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you do like what you just heard. You understand what I'm saying? Because every single one of us need to understand how the world works. Okay? There's two sides. You have the public and the private, the fiction and the fact. You understand what I'm saying? And those two, they do not mix. They do not mix. All right? So, peace to you all out there. I'll catch you on another episode.